GF might leave me over my bad hygiene, feelings lost. Me and my GF, both 28, been together a year. Basically our relationship is perfect. I am entirely sure that this is the woman I want to marry, have kids with, the whole lot. Of course we have our differences but we work well to overcome them and I couldn't be happier. One big problem though, every time we have sex, or even just have oral or using hands, Shushes gets a Uti. We've been through all kinds of doctors, tried everything you name it. It always happens. Even if I just use toys on her she gets it and it's obviously very uncomfortable and painful for her. It's always been like this for us. Keyword, us. She never got one before me and when she masturbates using the same toys she doesn't get one either. She has had upwards of 20 sexual partners before me and never once had a Uti. She is convinced that I am the problem. At first I took it seriously as before we had just been focusing on her with how she wipes, pees after sex, her diet, cleaning properly etc. So I started to be extra vigilant about hand washing and I will take a full shower before any kind of fun, using antibacterial soap and taking extra care to be clean as fuck. She still got one. Because of this she just doesn't believe that I'm clean. This is worsened because every time she sleeps at my place she says that she gets awful breakouts on her face because I don't wash my sheets enough. I did start washing them every week, before it was probably once a month, and also washing them the same day she was gonna sleep over. Nope, she still breakouts. I've changed detergent multiple times in case but it's the same. I don't know what to do. My previous partners have always said I'm clean and now I'm being obsessively clean but it just isn't enough for her. She even asked if she should sleep with another man to see who is the problem. I shut it down immediately. I've asked my friends and their girlfriends to look at and feel my hands, smell me. Whatever they were comfortable doing in order to get some brutally honest feedback. Nobody said anything negative. I think she is considering leaving me. And honestly the hits to my hygiene are quite hurtful. She won't let me touch her face or under her underwear. She wipes her hands on her clothes when we hold hands and she secretly washes them after. We don't have sex or play together at all. She won't let me play with her hair anymore and the kicker is that I can't even rub her feet. Like I'm so gross I can't give her a foot rub. What can I do lol? When was the last time you both were tested for STIs? There are several that have symptoms similar to a Uti, and a doctor won't test for those as a matter of course if someone goes in saying they have a Uti. Maybe she should try an allergy test at the GP. I used to get UTIs whenever and I had sex. I tried all the things you are supposed to do. Wash and pee both before and after sex. Use condoms in case of a sperm allergy. Different positions so that he wasn't rubbing on my urethra. Nothing worked. Then I went for regular blood testing and they told me my fasting blood sugar was kind of high. Further testing determined that I was diabetic. The reason for the UTIs was from having a lot more sugar than average in my urine. When I got my blood sugar under control the UTIs stopped. I would get UTI symptoms after sex most times. When I got the test at the doctor's, there was no infection. Just symptoms. Anyway, I ended up in hospital after about 2 years of this. I had a hemorrhagic cyst on my ovary, that was wedged near my bladder. Got it removed and haven't had a problem since. She even asked if she should sleep with another man to see who is the problem. As a joke or was she serious? Because this suggests she might just be looking for an out. I assume you've witnessed these constant breakouts and Uti diagnosis. Maybe next time you use toys, wear gloves and have no contact with her. I mean it might feel surgical but at this point if you're at your wit's end it's worth trying. If you clean up, wear gloves, be at her place, use her toys on her and only have contact with the toy, and she still claims she gets a Uti. Then get proof otherwise I'd call bullshit. And if she does then, I'd be at a total loss after all the steps you've already taken. So, I suffer with interstitial cystitis and the symptoms are really similar to a Uti. I'd get one every month or so and mine was misdiagnosed for about 10 years. My triggers always seemed to be sex, but it took a lot of tests with a urologist to diagnose me. Since then, with the right treatment and dietary changes my flare-ups are right down. Different partners also affected me differently, and it wasn't a hygiene thing. I'd encourage her to keep her food, drink diary and see if it correlates with anything else as well. You may just be the trigger, but by adjusting something else it may become much more manageable. Good luck. She obviously has a health issue. I think you should take a 6-8 week break from physically seeing each other and see if she comes right. If so, it's you, but I'm guessing she's going to find it has nothing to do with you. Correlation isn't causation. Has she been tested for interstitial cystitis? It's often mistaken for UTIs but is chronic, and she could be having flare-ups that coincide with sex by chance. IDK about the facial breakouts though. You said she gets a Uti after every sexual contact. Has she gotten him diagnosed each time? So, you've both had other sexual partners and this has never been a problem in the past. It sounds like you're doing everything you can. Has she literally witnessed you taking a shower before you get intimate with her? If so, I don't see how she could possibly believe that you aren't clean. Maybe take a shower together first so she can see that you're doing everything you can. The only thing I can think of at this point is maybe it's your soap. Maybe she can bring her own soap, body wash for you to use, or you can buy the same as her and see if that makes any difference. I had a very similar issue recently. I went to a gynecologist. Not a urologist, not a gynecologist, a combo of the two. The doctor told me that these things can become psychological because we're trying to protect our bodies. Also built up a resistance to antibiotics, so after the second or third round it's useless unless you switch to a different med. Doctor suggested a supplement that is a little pricey but worked wonders for me. Sorry you're going through this. My doctor told me that she sees a lot of women in their 20s deal with back-to-back UTIs. They're incredibly painful. I hope she gets better soon. If she hasn't tried it yet, the supplement D-Manos was a game changer for me. I was in the same boat as her and it's the only thing that has helped, besides antibiotics, but I wanted to stop taking them so much. She should also look into the condition interstitial cystitis, which mimics the symptoms of a UTI. I feel for you both because it's a terrible situation to be in. Basically our relationship is perfect. Every fucking post here, I swear. How does she know she has a UTI literally every time? Does she get diagnosed by a doctor and put on antibiotics every time? There are so many different things that cause UTIs. She should really talk with her doctor about what's causing this. It can be anything from wearing tight, not very breathable, pants, underwear, to serious health issues. You have done so much to make sure you're not the cause. I would say there is more to this. Some medications cause increase in UTIs like CGRP blockers, for migraine prevention. Either way, this is beyond your control. Has she tried probiotics, increasing hydration, etc.? Do you shower and scrub before sex? Does she shower and pee after sex? Do you wash your hands before touching her? She even asked if she should sleep with another man to see who is the problem. Hey, and let me guess, she'd have to do it multiple times. You know. For science. Sounds like she's just looking for an excuse to break up with you. Claiming an STI all the time is an excellent excuse to not have sex with you, and as people have pointed out, her facts are questionable. If this is your first partner this has been a problem with, I'd be skeptical. So, this may be TMI but that happened to me when I first became sexually active. It was nothing to do with hygiene or STIs but bruising of the bladder and urethra. It didn't help that I was allergic to 99% of the condoms on the UK market at that time. Does she pee before sex as well as straight afterwards? Because she needs to do that if she isn't. She also needs to drink a ton of water. Coconut water helps too. I dealt with that crap for over a year. Hypnotherapy also helped. Good luck, it's a horrible situation. Has she been to the doctor? I can't see how it can be you after all the extra measures you've taken to make sure you're so clean. Regardless of the reason this is happening, do you want to spend the rest of your life being with someone who washes after you've touched them, and makes you feel like you're disgusting? Sorry to be so brutally honest, I know you love her, but I couldn't live like that. Scanned through comments and haven't seen this question come up, so I will ask. To confirm a urinary tract infection requires a urine culture and sensitivity test, not just a dipstick test. This takes a couple of days after providing a urine sample. Do you know the name of the bacteria that has shown up on the culture? The answer is a clue. Also, a course of antibiotics might be a few days, but they may work longer and full recovery is not that quick. The only way to know for certain is to retest and confirm at the end of treatment. The facts is presented do not add up. I get UTIs from sex, and my doctor just gave me a pill to take every time I have sex that prevents them. Maybe look into that. Also, I got them from using bath bombs, bubble bath a few times. The pH down there is very tricky, and as much as I love taking bubble baths, I've had to limit them because of this issue. It could even just be a new soap Shusha's using to clean herself that is messing her up. Any chance she is allergic to something in your soaps, shower gels, whatever you use? Maybe try buying some different products and trying them for a few days and see how it goes. OMG. These UTIs can come in cycles. Once it starts, it's like 6 months of off and on. Then the yeast infections from the antibiotics killing all the good bacteria. It's non-stop. The doctor can give her a low-dose antibiotic to take every day, or after having sex. This stopped them for me. As long as you're washing down there, behind the hood and all, if there is one, it should be fine on your part. That and use more lube. Any dry entering can create this issue. I used to have UTIs in my late 20s all the time. So bad that I had antibiotics I took every time I had sex. That's terrible, I know. I used to say that even thinking about sex gave me UTIs. After years and years, I figured out that I simply wasn't hydrating enough to flush out the bacteria or whatever. I don't have any real thirst for water or anything really. I thought you could just drink a glass or two of water a day and be fine, but apparently you need to drink a lot more. Once I started drinking water, my UTIs and terrible awful hangovers went away. I can't believe I was tortured for years over something so damn simple to fix. I'd ask her to drink lots of water for a week just to make sure it's not that, because it's such an easy fix. This could also be psychosomatic at times. When I was younger, I had UTIs pretty often and severely, and after that certain situations or feelings would make me feel like I would have or get one again, panic and overthink it until I actually felt like I was having symptoms again. But the problem here is that she doesn't trust you with your hygiene. I understand that she's upset, but saying it's all your fault, even though you're trying very hard to do everything to help her, is pretty bad. The other suggestions here are all good. I'll also add, get your house tested for mold. The spores could be infecting stuff. It's weird but possible. Sometimes a UTI can be very difficult to clear. It took me 9 months of antibiotics to finally get rid of mine. It had recurred for 2 years. Also, for women who are prone to them, sex can cause them. And once you start getting them, you are now prone to them even if you weren't before. Doctors often prescribe antibiotics to take after sex as a preventative. The best specialist to see for this is a urogynecologist. It's a speciality I didn't even know existed, but the only one who figured it out. Okay, I don't want to point fingers or assume anything, but do you wash your ass properly? Fecal matter that is left over can easily get on your dick, balls and rub off onto her vagina during sex. The only reason I'm bringing this up is because I've seen enough Reddit posts about girls complaining that their BFS don't wash their ass in the shower and they smell, etc. Please make sure you wash in between your cheeks before having sex, and make sure your dick is clean with soap and water as well. She's developed an irrational anxiety about it. I don't blame her, because this would be a really stressful problem to deal with. It's obviously not your hygiene. There is some other factor that isn't obvious. Even if you were super dirty, which you aren't, you wouldn't be giving her a UTI every single time when she's never been prone to them before. This is a medical issue. Maybe she's allergic to something. If you can't figure it out though, it doesn't make sense to stay together. It sucks, but this is a pretty glaring incompatibility. It sounds like it's taking a toll on both of y'all's mental health, and that's not okay. She should see a urogynecologist. I had the same problem with recurrent UTIs. Went on for years. Saw my regular doctor and gynecologist, and they would treat each time as a new infection. I ended up needing antibiotics for 9 months to finally get rid of it. Sex is a major cause of UTIs in women. Doctor might prescribe a low-dose antibiotic to take after sex to prevent infection. This is surprisingly common. Shot in the dark. but maybe Yal's microbiomes just aren't compatible. Humans have billions, trillions of organisms, bacteria found on their skin, nose, anus, gut and genitals that dictate how they will impact certain things, and how certain things will impact them. Her ecology could just be reacting negatively to yours. It's kind of a bummer, but you two might not be good biological partners for each other. She needs to pee after sex. That's the best way to limit UTIs. Does she still shave? She should stop if she does. Are you sure it's been a UTI every time? Sometimes other conditions cause similar symptoms. I suffer from cysts and need medication for them. They feel like a UTI when they flare up. Has she been to a gynecologist to check if there's something wrong there? Hormone deficiencies maybe. Could it be a friction type thing? I know when I use toys, I'm using different angles and approaches than when I'm with a boyfriend. Different positions might help. She might have an allergy to something that you eat and could be present in your bodily fluids. I know someone who is allergic to garlic and she couldn't understand why she kept on getting UTIs and whatnot, and then got her boyfriend to stop eating it and she seemed to get a lot better. Unsure how scientifically correct this is, but it seemed to work for her. 24. F. Have a similar issue. I pee before and after any type of sexual touch involving my lady bits. I have a small bladder, so I'm constantly going pee during hand play or oral. Honestly, I've stopped wearing underwear. COVID, I don't go anywhere. If I do, I wear some. Same tampons always, same toilet paper always. If I change, I get them. My suggestion is have her bring her own sheets. She washes and dries them. Not to be mean, but it could be as simple as water doing it. I haven't had one for a year and I'm so happy. I'm use the same soap always. Dude, this situation sucks. I'm really sorry this is happening to you too. I started developing Utis and skin issues at 30. In the end it turned out to be anxiety related. I'd been so overwhelmed for so long my body just couldn't cope anymore and my immune system tanked. Struggling emotionally, mentally could be a factor here. This may seem like a weird question, but as someone who previously struggled with UTIs until my current partner, I feel like I always had a flare-up when I had rougher penetration. Especially digital penetration. Do you guys often have rough contact? This could genuinely have nothing to do with it, but I figured I'd ask. I have a condition called Interstitial Cystitis. 25F. It's a condition that mimics a UTI, but it's actually inflammation of the bladder. It just came upon me one day and does worsen during sexual activity. Is it possible she could have developed this? Because sometimes this issue also tests falsely positive as a UTI as well. Good luck. I am allergic to one of my ex-partners. Didn't matter what we did, anything even remotely sexual caused days, sometimes weeks, of pain. Ended up leaving after 2 years because it just wasn't working, and haven't had that issue since. Bodies are seriously weird. I would say to get checked for the STIs that are not part of a regular panel, and also see if you can get her checked for an allergy to you. Good luck, op. Maybe you should post about this in one of the medical subs to see if there are any ideas you haven't tried or considered. I knew someone that would get UTIs whenever they had sex with their partner. I think it was something to do with his sperm though. It sounds weird, but they were married for years and it only happened after they had sex and it never stopped happening. ETA 90% sure it had to do with the pH of his semen. She also could be straight up allergic to you. Which sucks, but it happens. Her allergy eosinophils might register your skin cells as a pathogenic intruder. I would suggest going to the doc for antibiotics to clear the UTI, then have her start taking cranberry pills every night. I had this same issue and I have gotten maybe 1 UTI since I started taking the cranberry pills roughly 7 years ago. I was super skeptical when I first heard about them, but they have worked wonders for me. Maybe they could help her too. If she hasn't seen a urologist, she needs to. It's also possible she has something else going on like kidney stones, interstitial cystitis, or even bladder cancer. Her urine needs to be cultured with a sensitivity and then likely again following treatment at this point, plus possibly other diagnostics. She even asked if she should sleep with another man to see who is the problem. What the fuck is that suggestion? Is she nuts? I think it's time to have a visit to the doctor, urologist, Ob-Gyn to discuss this issue. It seems that y'all have gone through a lot of things to be cleaner. How about wearing a condom? Do you wear one? PS per detergent. Just get yourself one of those neutral non-scented type detergents. She may be allergic to whatever in your house as well. Op. I don't understand why everything has to happen at your place. New rules. You only get together at her place and you take a shower, using her products, the moment you arrive. Do that for a month. And if she's still getting UTIs every time, then there's something else going on with her and she needs to see a doctor. If that does the trick, however, then there's something at your house that is affecting her and you need to move. Toxic mold is a thing. This is not from your hygiene. Most likely the sex is running too long, or too rough. She is dehydrated and probably insists buying lube and using it. Honestly, it sounds very strange to get them that frequent even after antibiotic treatment. I wonder if she is just anxious about it now and overly sensitive, thinking that she has one when she doesn't. If not, then I would look into it further medically, as this is clearly not due to your hygiene. Another thing to try is drinking cranberry juice daily or taking cranberry extract pills, as it helps prevent UTIs.